go. All right. Quiet down for me, please. All right, so what we're going to be doing is we're talking about translations today. We're going to be talking about a couple of different things when we talk about translations. Remember, translation is just a slide, right?
Yeah.
It's just a slide. Now, when we talk about translations in a slide, everything in one figure has to be slid the same direction. Okay? So this says you want to perform a translation that is 5 units to the right and 1 unit up. 1 unit up. 5 units to the right and 1 unit up. This represents the x direction. All right, the left and right. Sometimes it's going to be left, sometimes it's going to be right. This one, the up and the down, represents the y direction. Am I going to go up or down in the y? So it's kind of like a coordinate point, right? Because you're going 5 units to the right and 1 unit up. So another way to write this, and I want you to write this because I want you to do this on every single problem, is another way to write this is to take the x and the y. This is coordinate notation, okay? Take the x and the y, and you want to move it so the x increases by 5 and the y increases by 1. Okay? This is coordinate notation. We're going to move the x and y so that the x increases by 5 and the y increases by 1. So you're going to take each one of these points. I'm going to start with T. I'm going to move it to the x direction, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up 1. That now is T prime, and you want to label it that way. It's T prime. The next one is going to be G. We're going to move it to the right 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up 1. That now is G prime. We're going to move the B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up 1. That's B prime. Okay? B prime. And then you're going to connect those dots. So it's not just about moving the dots. You have to make sure that you are connecting those dots as well. Okay? So you have G prime, T prime, and B prime. Here's your 3 new locations, and they are translated 5 units to the right and 1 unit up, or in coordinate notation, we call that moving the x and y 5 units up, and or excuse me, 5 units to the right and 1 unit up. If this was 5 units to the left, this would say x minus 5. If this was 1 unit down, this would say y minus 1. Okay? Does that make sense? Anybody have a question on that? I want you to write the notation, the coordinate notation for this one. Just the coordinate notation. Don't plot the points. We're going to run out of time. But just write the coordinate notation for that. Number 2, Kirsten, please. Miss Barney, what'd you get?
I don't know what I got. X plus, oh wait, okay, it's X and Y, and then the arrow thingy, and then I got X plus 1, no,
Moving to the left.
or X minus 1,
So x minus 1,
and then plus 2.
and then y plus 2. Okay?
So when it goes left, I think.
When it goes left, that's the same way as going negative direction, right? On the axis. So you're going to minus 1. You're going to go to the left. Positive goes to the right. Positive y goes up. Negative y, or a negative y goes down. So it's going to go minus. Okay? All right, turn your paper over. So you're going to write a rule on each of these to describe what happened. Okay? Remember, your image is the prime one, marked prime. So on this one, it's the one on the right. Okay? See, it's got that prime symbol. So you want to go from this one to this one. That's important. Which one am I starting at? Which one am I going to? You're going to write two different rules. You're going to write it once in words like this, and you're going to write it once in notation like this. Okay? So you're going to write it both ways. Once in words, once in coordinate notation. So make sure you know that. You're writing it once in words, once in coordinate notations. Questions on this? It's not a difficult assignment, but it's important to do so that we are familiar with what a translation is. Okay? Any last minute questions? Yes, Alex.
Do you always have to put the X and the Y with the arrow?
You do, because you're telling me that's what you're doing. I'm moving the X and Y, so it's like this right here. See, I'm moving 5 units to the right. You're telling me it's a translation. So here I'm telling you I'm going to take this X and Y, I'm going to move it, right? So instead of using the word translation, I'm telling you what I'm doing with it.
Okay.
So yeah, good question. Yeah, I have to have that X and Y there as part of it. Okay. Any last minute questions other than that? Yes?
What would you do with the X?
So, good question. If you look at number 3 a minute, it says you're just moving 3 units down, right? So you'd have the X and Y there with the arrow to the right, and you'd have X by itself. It just stays the same, right? Because X stays the same, it's just X. You're not adding to it, you're not taking away from it, and then you're just going Y minus 3. Hang on just a minute, Ms. Krebs. Okay?